with 11 points with another win, that might actually vault him into the top 4, depending on the way tiebreakers fall. So, let us take a look and see what we have here in the throne room. Our first chest is a cursed belt. Our second chest is a magic key, and the third chest is the Stones of Sunlight, and no spells.
And that is correct. And the reason they look for spells is in the event that they would have return, they could actually cast return and exit directly outside Tentacle Castle, saving that magic.
And we have the town of Darrenham here in Vanilla Bruckenary. Some nice things. I see a flame sword, I see a small shield.
And MeleeWizard is going to capture his level 2 on the way to
So we just have our runners now looking like they're grinding a little bit. Centroid and Melee are taking out some red slimes, it looks like. MeleeWizard picking up his dragon scale, and looks like Ryu is filling up on herbs.
And it would appear too they're hitting the red slime for 4 damage, so luckily for our racers they're not starting out with the impossible 4 strength stat which everybody dreads on a beginning.
Ryu has donned his dragon scale, as did MeleeWizard. Interesting to note, all 4 of our runners are doing strength HP builds, and 3 of our 4 runners are using the vanilla sprite. Ryu is using one of the sprites from Pac-Man, it looks like. He's one of the red ghost sprite.
And that is correct. And it looks like for the most part, all of our runners are just going to stick around the castle here and try to grind out a couple levels before making any moves to the east or up to the north to Darrenham. So
Centroid and Melee already at level 3, as is Captain Green. Ryu and not too far behind.
It would appear still no spells yet.
I certainly haven't seen any, so I think we're looking at least level 4 or 5 here till we see some sort of spell. Chat reporting that they actually got the repel spell at level 2, so we missed that one.
No, nothing really useful, I guess, at the early levels, because you kind of want to grind these mobs anyways. I think what I personally look for in the early levels would be something like Hurt. Sleep is alright. Heal, but I mean, they have access to herbs, so I don't think it's going to be that effective, but Heal and Hurt, I would say, the 2 most important at the low levels, and it looks like level 4 does give us...
Yep, level 4 is giving us heal, so looks like Captain Green is wandering into the Vanilla Tablet Cave, where we find the Stones of Sunlight Cave, and in there we have a key! Ooh, that could be big.
Yeah, because he can come in and out if he chooses to and grind up.
Looks like Green is going to keep on going to Vanilla Darrenham, and what do we have in Vanilla Darrenham? We have Hawks.
And this could be a good opportunity to at least see what that tile...
Ooh, and it's a red dragon. That'll be fun.
Depending on if the red dragons, have something like Stop Spell or Hurt, it could be an effective grind spot for later game, but definitely nothing you want to mess with here at level 4.
So interestingly, Captain Green does not take a look at the treasury. I might have saved and dipped into the treasury just to see if there's a bunch of gold and maybe another magic key. To see. It looks like Centroid might actually be doing.
Yeah, because I mean, if there's nothing in the treasury, if you save, you can go out and We know Garanham's next door, so you got those 3 chests also.
We have an herb. We have the silver harp. We have gold. And a torch. So at this point, what I would do is probably grind a little bit to get enough money for 1 key, get a key from the back of Tantagel, and then get gold and then go back and max out on keys.
Looks like we're gonna see Centroid going into the back of Garrett. We'll get to see these 3 chests and then what is behind it. Looks like we have an herb, gold, and the cursed belt. And I think that's the second cursed belt we've seen.
Indeed, it is the second cursed belt. So what does that mean?
So that means that all the search locations are going to have an item that we need.
Oh, Centroid with a miss menu and puts on the cursed belt instead of using a torch. Yep, that's an immediate reset there. Now, Ryu actually did quite an interesting thing on his side. He actually went in and out of the Stones of Sunlight Cave to grind up on keys. So he now can go in and out as he pleases.
Yeah, I mean, since keys are, free there's no reason to not go in and out. I mean, even if you just did it, to get the initial 2 keys for the throne room and back of Garanham, since they were so close. If you need keys later on, you can just pop in there later and just grab another one if needed.
So underneath Garanham, we have the Grave of Garen. Interesting.
And green dragons on the first floor of the grave could pose some difficulty getting these chests.
We have gold, there's the death necklace, and we have an herb. So if Ryu were to take a death at this point, now with those 3 chests, he will be able to set up the glitch where he can gold grind if he opens the chests in the Tantagel treasury the correct way.
And that is correct, and we know next door to Tentacle Castle, we did see some pretty decent gear. I believe there was Flame Sword to start, full plate was there, and I didn't get to see if there was a shield there. So early starting items for sure.
Looks like we have MeleeWizard going up to Vanilla Coal and finding, I think, is that Rimmel?
Ah, yes, that is indeed Rimmel. Not as effective right now because, like I said, we did find early keys right there north of Tentacle in the Tablet Cave, but those that one chest guarded by those 2 keys could have a potential Erdrick sword.
Now we have Ryu and Captain Green filling up on keys in the back of Tantagel, and we're going to take a look at what the cave is under Tantagel, and it is, drum roll please, Swamp North.
And MeleeWizard heading for the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight. And it is the Jerk.
It is the place where you turn in all 3 of your items, the staff, the stones, and the token, to get the rainbow drop.
And if you happen to go in there and are missing an item, say Erdrick's token, he will gladly escort you out like the Jerk.
Now this is going to be interesting to see if either Ryu or Green can get into Vanilla Rimmeldar on this dive. Ryu is out of herbs and out of magic.
And attacked by a golem. And Captain Green finding Cole.
So Cole and Rimmeldar have switched spots in this map. And in the Cole search spot, we have Erdrick's armor, probably the most broken armor in the NE.
That is correct, because not only does it heal you for every step you take, it also halves the amount of, I believe it's hurt and hurt more spell.
Now it looks like we have Centroid going to at least attempt to dive the lower levels of the grave.
And it looks like Captain Green also picked up a bamboo pole. I mean, not necessarily the most effective weapon, but for 2 additional AP starting out, I mean, it could, you know, make the difference, you know, in last hitting a mob versus not last hitting a mob.
So interestingly, on that level 7 pickup there for Green, I did notice a gain of 21 in some stat. I missed if it was agility or power, but that was a nice, really nice level there, level 7.
You're going to find out the Guardian of Hawksnest, which we know as the fun police known as the Red, but he's not gonna get that information this time.
Beta Strep wonderfully pointing out in chat that given that the damage he was doing to the wolf, it sure wasn't strength, and Alajabrap also pointing out that it was 11 in agility. So either way, still a nice level. Centroid finds the gold chest and is now doing a gold grind. Let's see how much gold he winds up taking. We know that there is a flame sword right here in Garenham, and I believe I did see a magic armor as well. So can really do decent, even though, you know, Erdrick's armor is kind of free for the taking once you get to Vanilla Rimmeldar. MeleeWizard finding the Staff of Rain cave and is picking up his Staff of Rain.
Yep, all MeleeWizard needs to do now is find the Erdrick's token, and then he will be able to turn that in for the rainbow drop, and then he will be in what we like to call grind and go mode. He'll have all the items for go mode, he'll just have to grind for the levels, and to grind up to make sure that he has the spell of Heal More before attempting to take on the Dragon Lord.
So MeleeWizard getting sent back to start and is going to wander into Garenham. I'm assuming to... Well, oh, no, he's probably going to go wander the grave. Okay, Centroid doing the full and complete gold grind, enough to buy the flame sword, the magic armor, and the silver shield. We know the first two are right next door here in Garenham, and we know that the silver shield is in Rimmeldar, which is in Vanilla Coal.
Yep, no, it's gonna be interesting to see once he buys the magic armor and the sword. Is he going to potentially save in order to make that run over there, so if he dies he doesn't lose half of it? It looks like he's just gonna go for it.
MeleeWizard picking up his death necklace. Ooh, CaptainGreen7 finding that metal slimes have Dragon Lord 2 breath.
Definitely something you don't want to see. Metal slimes are already difficult enough to kill, but then to see that they have DL2 breath. Centroid heading up to what we know as Hawksnest.
Thinks about peeping the boss there, but then is like, nah. Okay, MeleeWizard about to check the 4th chest here in the grave and finds gold.
It appears that 3 of our 4 runners are all in the grave diving.
Indeed. Now, Centroid making the play that we know he needs to make, making his way over to Vanilla Coal, which we know will net him a silver shield from Rimeldar.
Yep, and that should pretty much set the tone for the rest of the match for him, as he'll have the flame sword, so he'll be doing a good amount of damage. Magic armor, which he'll be trading anyways for Erdrix once he goes south to Vanilla Rimeldar, and he'll have the silver shield.
And Centroid does indeed pick up his silver shield. Now it looks like MeleeWizard is taking our first venture south of Tantagel Castle and probably will check out Vanilla Mountain Cave first.
The Rimeldar chest is the fighter's ring. I think Centroid's the first one to grab the that box.
Ryu has found the tablet cave.
Captain Green finding the news that Metal Slimes have Dragon Lord 2 breath and sending him back to...
Is Melee gonna head up to... No, he's headed down. Okay, so he's also gonna check out the Vanilla Mountain Cave, it looks like. I was wondering if he was gonna check out Hawksness and maybe try to take on that Red Dragon. I think it would have been folly, but you never know.
Ryu finding the unfortunate news when he gets to the bottom of the tablet cave that unfortunately the chest is empty, meaning he's either full up on herbs or...
So it was the Vanilla Swamp North that wound up being the tablet cave. And Centroid gonna head into the Vanilla Swamp North to find the tablet cave. Ryu heading into... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've seen Mountain Cave. So does that mean Vanilla Mountain Cave is Mountain?
I think so. I think we've seen out the other caves.
I was gonna say, I think every other location has been checked.
Although it looks like Melee is about to give us our first look at Vanilla Hawk's Nest. Allerger Brep asks what's at the Jerk Cave. The Jerk Cave, I believe, was the Staff of Rain Cave.
Yes, I think you're right. I think the Staff of Rain was the Vanilla Jerk. And it's going to be Cantlin.
Yeah, we do have Cantlin here in Vanilla Hawk's Nest. So that means Vanilla Cantlin Breckenary.
And we know there's going to be something at the search location as we found the 2 cursed belts. It's a matter of is it going to be the fairy flute or is it going to be the token?
$72 south and $14 east.
In fact, 72 south, 14 east is going to, I believe, put you in the swamp just below Cantlin, near the Vanilla Erdrick's token location.
I was just going to say, that's not too terribly far away from the Vanilla token, I believe.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Vanilla token location is 70 south, 40 east.
Yeah, so it's basically due west of the Vanilla token. There we go, and Algebra App in chat pointing out that the bridge to get to the token is 61 south and 6 east. So from there, it actually becomes a pretty simple count. It's just 11 more south and 8 to the east. Okay. Ryu is in the mountain cave. The first was empty, so it's either an herb or a key.
And we know the only thing they can find of use out of Mountain Cave would be Erdrick's sword, because we know that the last 2 items are going to be found in the location of the search.
Ooh, Ryu gets burned by a metal slime. Centroid now following in Ryu's footsteps. Going to explore the mountain cave. Let's see if he meets the same sticky fate as Ryu.
Centroid getting the business from a green dragon, sending him back to town.
MeleeWizard has it heading back into the grave to check that last chest, I imagine. I don't think we've seen that last chest in the grave yet.
Right, I think the bottom floor is the last chest we have yet to see, and hoping that this is a payoff for MeleeWizard.
Looks like CaptainGreen7 is headed down to the Vanilla Rainbow Drop Cave, where he will find the Staff of Rain Cave. Okay, Ryu is back in the mountain cave, and we're just about to see the bottom chest here. It's gold. The bottom chest in the
All that
grave is gold. Ooh, Ryu gets a metal slime kill. He gets rewarded with a torch.
Yeah, that 255 XP from Metal Slime really helps the early on XP. That puts 3 of our racers at level 9, and I believe Centroid is at level 8.
I believe.
Oh, level 7.
So, the mountain cave is empty, so I do believe now that guarantees that Erdrick's sword is going to be in Sharlock.
That is correct. It will either be in one of the 5 chests in the treasury, or it will be in the vanilla chest.
And Ryu is setting up for a gold grind.
And honestly, in this seed, I think gold grind is actually the way to go, considering that your two big items to start out as right next door. So it's not like you have to get the gold and, you know, travel with it in hopes that you make it before you are sent back and, you know, with half as much as you start.
Yeah, I agree. You know, getting a flame sword and a magic armor nice and early, well, early-ish into the seed will certainly do nothing but help. MeleeWizard looks like he's making his way... Certainly south of Tantagel. Okay. Now, Captain Green is making his way to what we know to be the Tablet Cave.
And unfortunately, we know all that's hiding in there is just an earth.
Oh, MeleeWizard is going to go take a look at the overworld spot, I do believe. Alright, yep, because he's stopping on the bridge, and now he's going to count from the bridge.
And I think that's a good play, considering we know that the Red Dragon is at Hawksnest, which at this level just doesn't seem doable.
Oh no, and gets wrecked by a green dragon! Centroid getting his coordinates from Cantlin, and Ryu picking up his flame sword and magic armor.
MeleeWizard picking up Hurtmore at level 10, which could be potentially huge boost.
Psycho Naga in chat asks who found the coordinates. MeleeWizard and Centroid currently have the coordinates. Ryu and Captain Green do not yet.
Centroid and Captain Green have only traveled as far south as to Vanilla Mountain Cave at this point.
I'm not even sure Captain Green has made it into the mountain cave yet. Looks like MeleeWizard is hightailing it right back to that spot. Ryu getting level 10, and we'll get his Hurtmore spell. CaptainGreen7 finding Vanilla Coal, which we know to be Rimuldar.
And I actually like the play that MeleeWizard's doing, attempting for the coordinates, because he knows that the Red Dragon in Hawksnest is guarding that search spot, which just is not doable at this time. And if he can pull out the Erdrick's token from the coordinate spot, he might not have to deal with the Red Dragon, whereas the other runners that don't know the coordinates might go to Hawksnest and sit there and attempt to, you know, fight it over and over again, just for, say, like, the Fairy Flute.
Now, Ryu makes his way into Cantlin, is going to reverse shield and probably check his coordinates.
And if this is the token, it'll also allow Lock early in hopes to look through those 6 or 7 chests in order to find the Erdrick.
Ooh, Droll Magi with Dragon Lord 2 Breath. And, well, get sent back to start again.
That section of the map is just not being too friendly to MeleeWizard.
No, not at all. Meanwhile, speaking of being friendly, Ryu finding a silver shield in Caitlin. Looks like MeleeWizard is like, you know what? Since that area of the map is such a jerk, I'm gonna go try my hand at this red dragon. So Ryu is getting his coordinates and writing them down.
Centroid also in Hawk's Nest.
Ooh, hits a hurt more. And hits a second one and takes down the red dragon. Let's see if it does any good for him.
It's a token.
Oh, that's huge. That puts Melee in a commanding lead right now.
And knowing that, like, he was able to hit those hurt more, potentially he could go back later, and try to grind that early for XP, although it's probably not going to be as effective until he gets, say, another level or two, maybe gets, the sword.
And Centroid trying to take on the red dragon, and the red dragon casually wrecks him. So we know now that the fairy flute will be at those coordinates that are listed on the screen. So that red dragon is in fact required. So, and as Eligibrap adds in chat that, you know, he wouldn't have tried without Healmore, and I don't think either one of these other runners are going to try without Healmore. So this really puts MeleeWizard in a fantabulous situation.
Because I don't know officially the percent chance to hit hurt more on a red dragon, but it doesn't seem like it's, you know, an effective route to do.
Well, red dragons, I do believe, resist hurt more 1 out of 16. So nailing 2 out of 3, I believe, is a 1 in, I want to say, oh, there we go. Tilo in chat does the math for us. 1 in 256. Our wonderful trackers putting up the resist stats on the red dragon, and it is indeed a 1 out of 16 chance to hit the hurt more. And MeleeWizard did it twice. That is unbelievable. That's so lucky. That's the only way I can put it, is that that's just lucky. Centroid getting the princess.
We see that the red dragon does only fight, so, you know, not going to be able to go in there and hope that it casts stop spell or hurt to try to get the easy kill.
And Ryu finding the fairy flute. And Melee picking up his rainbow drop.
Captain Green looks like he's exploring Mountain Cave. But this should give Ryu, I think, the information that he needs now that Hawk's Nest has the token in it.
Oh look, Breckenary. MeleeWizard wandering into the tablet cave. I believe this is the last chest he has to check before Sharlock, or did he not go into the mountain cave yet? Furty1, to answer your question in chat, where has Ryu been that he doesn't have the armor? Ryu has not basically been to the northeast portion of the map where So the armor is in Cole, which is where Vanilla Rimmeldar is. He got wrecked on his way to Vanilla Rimmeldar about, 20 minutes ago, and just hasn't been back there. CaptainGreen7 making his way through the bottom part of the grave. And Ryu gets level 12, which happens to have heal more, so Ryu is going to be in good shape with this red dragon.
Gets his token. And MeleeWizard headed to Mountain Cave. I believe this is his last check, as we said before, Sharlock, although we know there's nothing
So this puts Ryu actually right now in a really good spot, because Ryu knows that, number one, the armor has to be in Cole. He knows, number two, that Cole has to be in Vanilla Rimmeldar. And number three, he knows that the Staff Cave has to be south of Vanilla Rimmeldar. So Ryu pretty much knows where everything is at this point in time. He just gotta go get it.
Captain Green going to go inside Hawk's Nest and see if he can't claim his red.
Well, he also has heal more as well, so he will get his token. Question in chat from Beta Strip: does Captain Green seriously have the bamboo pole? Our trackers have been on top of everything all night. If the display says the bamboo pole, I'm trusting that it's the bamboo pole.
Once Ryu goes and gets his armor and then trades in for his Staff of Rain, it'll be interesting to see who is going to make that Sharlock die first. Are they going to try to grind up some levels first, or is someone going to attempt to grind for the sword first to make the grind?
No. Oh, MeleeWizard looks like he's trying to find an enemy that can kill him. He wants to die to set up a gold grind, and he knows that there is a silver shield in Vanilla Coal, so he wants to set up that gold grind.
And it would appear that Ryu is off to go claim his rainbow dragon.
Meanwhile, Melee is trying to find something that can kill him. And Centroid wailing away on the Red Dragon to no avail. Oh, this Magiwyvern will do it. It'll do it slowly, but it'll do it. And there we go. The gold grind is set up for MeleeWizard. Meanwhile, Ryu picking up his rainbow drop, and I would imagine is heading straight off to Charlock.
Looks like Centroid's finally going to explore the southwest part. He's going to find out that Caitlin is right here at the Hawk's Nest level.
So now it's important to, especially between Ryu and Melee, it is important to take a look at their relative experience to each other. And right now, Ryu does have a slight edge in experience, so in theory, right now, if this experience edge stays, he will get to the necessary levels first. But let's see.
He hits level 13.
And it looks like he's trying to grind on an overworld spot here that has Axe Knights.
And I mean, having Hurtmore, I mean, this is a great spot because you can almost take him out with one Hurtmore. And there's a town right there, so if he does need to replenish his MP, it's just...
Centroid getting to level 12 and getting that Heal More spell, which will be necessary to take down that, well, in theory, necessary to take down that Red Dragon. And it looks like MeleeWizard is heading off to buy his silver shield in Rimeldar, which we know is Vanilla Cold.
Once he gets his silver shield, it'll be interesting to see if he's going to find a spot to grind a few more levels, or if he's going to be the first to take that potential dive into. Whereas Ryu has the knowledge of Axe Knights being right here, so I really think this is going to put him ahead of the game, being able to hurt more and one-shot a lot of these Axe Knights.
Well, it looks like Captain Green has the same idea. Captain Green has everything he needs, and he has the same idea to grind on these Axe Knights. And he actually has a 400 experience lead on Ryu.
And I mean, I can't blame these guys because, like, one downfall with playing on the vanilla map is you literally get one grind tile. If that one grind tile is just garbage, then you're stuck, you know, trying to find a decent place on the overworld map, which sometimes just, you know, isn't that effective. So being able to find these, you know, so close to a town is really good for both these runs.
Yeah, agreed. Now, it looks like Melee might actually be going to Hawk's Nest to grind on Red Dragon.
We'll have to see how this pans out for him. Although they'll be worth, what, twice as much as Axe Knights, but the fight could, you know, be a lot more... it could be a lot more on the magic power, and having to go back using return if you only get, say, 1 red dragon, maybe 2, isn't going to be super...
So, if one of our wonderful trackers here could pull up our stats, I think this is as good a time as any to take a look at our wonderful stats here. Now, Captain Green is a little bit in the lead here, so let's take a look at the stats at level 14. Our strength is not very good. Our agility is fantastic. HP getting there, MP getting there. So, you know, we're certainly looking at quite a few more levels. We definitely need a fair amount of strength more. So, you know, I mean, we could get a bunch of empty levels coming up, but it looks like our limiting stat here is going to wind up being strength. That, you know, it's good. They're going to be waiting on their strength to get up to the right level where they need to be. Generally, that we like to have strength around 90.
And I believe most runners try to go for the 130 to 140 AP range, usually with a minimum of, what, 11 heal mores, so you have a potential opportunity to burn one on the way down if you need. But depending on how these next levels go, if they get, you know, more hit point gains and they get up in the 131 hit point range, then, you know, the Death Necklace could become a viable instrument, giving them 10 additional AP at the cost of 25% to their total hit.
So, way back when, I had mentioned that it was huge for MeleeWizard to use 2 hurt mores to take care of that red dragon. Ryu and Captain Green have zoomed past him in experience and are pulling away. So Melee being unable to get on the grind, as they say, he's starting to fall behind a little bit, and Centroid still needs to find that token.
And that's the one thing you know, you gamble on. You gamble on the mob that gives 255 XP and hopes to, you know, pull a lead, or do you go search the overworld, or, you know, take notes as you're going and try to find a mob that, you know, might be worth half as much, but you can kill them in 1 to 2 hits, you know, especially if it's right next to a town.
Ooh. MeleeWizard finding an armored knight with sleep in the guard spot here. Gets that nice little quick hit of experience, and it's like, okay, I'm done. Because do remember that in this version of the randomizer, that tile does not respawn.
Because if that did, that would be another potential grind at 172 XP, only costing 2 hearts. And it looks like Centroid's gonna finally go to Hawk's Nest and hopefully claim his
And MeleeWizard is the first to use the rainbow drop. Both of our bottom runners, Ryu and Captain Green, are very close to getting level 15.
And see, with Ryu and Captain Green both grinding XP, I kind of want to say, because they have this spot that they found so close to a town, is they're probably going to grind up until they're ready to make the dive, pick up the sword, and then do the Dragon Lord all in one foul swoop, rather than having to dive.
Centroid does pick up his token and will respawn a red dragon. Oh, well, this is interesting. Werewolves have hurt. They're a nice little grind target there. Oh, they also have heal more. That sucks. Level 15 with a nice agility boost, but precious little else.
It'll be interesting to see too MeleeWizard coming down here. If he's gonna go directly to the treasury, having access to 6 chests right away, or is he going to make the route to hit the vanilla Erdrick's sword chest and then hit the treasury?
So Jubal1 in chat asks who's winning. It's super close at this point. Ryu and CaptainGreen7, they both have the experience lead over MeleeWizard right now. But Melee is diving Sharlock to get Erdrick's sword, so super close. And 41 asking in chat, is the flame sword the best they can get for now? The answer to that is yes. The flame sword is the best sword in the game that can be purchased at a shop. In fact, it is the second best sword in the game. The best sword in the game is Erdrick's sword. And in this particular seed, Erdrick's sword is in Sharlock Castle, the last dungeon of the game. So right now, the best sword that can be had is the flame sword.
And interesting, Captain Green has moved to the Red Dragon top.
And Ryu is making his way over to Sharlock. It does look like. And Melee is deciding to take the vanilla sword path first. So let's see if this does him any. And it's just a pair of wings. Captain Green going back in grind and it looks like Centroid is doing the same, a Red Dragon grind. So interestingly, Centroid doing the Red Dragon grind has passed MeleeWizard right now. So MeleeWizard currently is 4th in the experience. Meanwhile, if we take a look at the experience between Ryu and Captain Green, Green is starting to pull away from Ryu. And what do we have here where is the sword? Where is the sword here in the Sharlock Treasury?
It's in the top left.
Alright, Melee checking out his stats, noticing his strength is absolutely positively nowhere near close enough to take on the Dragon Lord, so I think he's just probably going to stay down here and grind, I would think.
I mean, if he keeps finding these werewolves that are only going to use hurt, I mean, this could be a decent grind for him.
Level 16 basically laughing at our runners, giving 1 strength. But the HP is slowly starting to creep up into Death Necklace territory. And what is Death Necklace territory? Well, the Death Necklace in the randomizer gives 10 extra attack power at the cost of 25% HP. So most runners hit 130-ish HP as the guideline, because at 130-ish HP, you'll still be able to take 2 Dragon Lord breaths to the face and still might get a double attack or 2.
Ryu going right for the vanilla chest. MeleeWizard sent home by a red dragon. Centroid actually catching up, grinding at the red dragons.
Yep, Melee definitely heading up to do some red dragon grinding. Centroid hitting level 15 and keeps on going. Ryu is also doing the vanilla sword location first.
And at this point, it looks like Captain Green is like 2,000 XP over Ryu, so just pulling ahead at this point from the rip.
Yep. Ryu now back on the quote-unquote normal path down to the treasury, where once he looks top left, he will have his Erdrick sword. Jubail, yes, Ryu is a Pac-Man ghost. 31, why is Centroid taking these deaths? Well, once Centroid runs out of MP, the easiest way to get an MP refill from where he is to die and have the king refill your HP and MP. So he is taking these deaths intentionally because it is the quickest way to get himself back on the grind.
And Ryu hit 16 right before getting his sword.
And level 17 for Captain Green. I missed what... Oh, level 17's the level. He's going.
Yep, that'll give him 136 AP once he picks up his Erdrick sword. He has, what, 12 heal mores, and he has 2 MP that he can spend on Radiant. And he has 129 hit points.
Yeah, once Captain Green picks up Erdrick's sword, this fight is basically going to be as free can get.
As long as he doesn't have to burn a ton of heal mores, because, you know, the RNG down in Charlotte can be just super aggressive. I mean, there's been times I've dove, you know, 5-6 times, and it's always but was blocked, and then you're always sent back to the castle.
Captain Green going to Cole to use an in. Ryu is... I think he's doing the same thing. And Melee and Centroid are just continuing to grind. Now we know level 17 is going to be the level. So the question's going to be, is Ryu going to try to get that level on the way down? Or is he going to grind for it somewhere?
I don't know, that's tough to call, because, you know, he could potentially try to grind down there, but the thing is when you're going down there to grind, you want to make sure that by the time you hit the level, you still have enough MP and resources to still go down and fight DL2 without having to call back and taking another dive, because that's just minutes lost at that point.
So we are setting up for quite the tight finish here between Captain Green and Ryu. Centroid and Melee are just a little bit further behind, but they are also very close to each other.
Yeah, and Centroid there for a while, he was way behind in the EXP compared to even MeleeWizard. And as you see, he's, you know, basically caught right up, so...
Centroid reaching level 16 and is debating what to do at this point. It looks like Centroid is heading toward... Rainbow Drop Cave? Yeah, he's going to go get his Rainbow Drop, it looks like.
And with all these week 4 flag races that we've had throughout the week, a lot of them have been, you know, sub-hour runs or just around the 1 hour mark. So I can just see our runners, you know, feeling the pressure, knowing that it's 1 hour, you know, nobody's finished, looking at their, you know, stats and thinking, you know, could this be one of those seeds where you have to grind to, you know, level 20 plus because they're just not getting, you know, the upgrades at this point.
Yeah, agreed. I think all of our runners are watching that IRC channel very intently, knowing that first place in these races have been right in, you know, in between 50 and 70 minutes, and, you know, we're right smack in the middle of that at this point, and nobody's finished yet. So this is going to be a tight one.
And the other thing too is with this being the speed hack seeds, there is a possibility, you know, that there could be a miss menu on the Dragon Lord, and I mean that's always, you know part of it. I mean, I've had plenty of miss menus doing these week 4 races just because everything's, you know, going so fast and you're just mashing.
Yeah, exactly. The last seed I commentated, one of our racers, due to the speed hacks, fought at an HP of 42 and got extraordinarily lucky when the Dragon Lord attacked for 30. And Captain Green is indeed the first to the Dragon Lord. Nice. Alright, and here we go. Captain Green is on the Dragon Lord fight itself. Not swinging on 47, probably is, you know, the correct move there.
Oh, getting lots of 10s, low roll.
Captain Green getting a bunch of low rolls. There we go. Now 18, 14, 17. Now RNG is starting to behave a little bit. And the Dragon Lord's dead.
Alright guys, get your GGs out as Captain Green goes up and talks to King Lord. And it looks like we'll have an official SRL time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, 59 seconds for Captain.
So Captain Green will take hold of the 5 points for finishing first, which will bump his total to 13. 13 points will put him comfortably into the top 16 for the standings, which puts him in a very good spot to advance to the bracket phase.
Yep, I think as far as it stands now, I think it's 11 points currently gets you in the top 16, but that means we still have one more week, week 5, next week, which is going to be another Chaos Short Charlock, and I mean, it'll also be a positional, which is going to be interesting on top of that, and I mean, a lot of things can happen in the Chaos Run.
And with that, we do have Captain Green joining us in Discord. Captain Green, congratulations, man. Nicely.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
So, what did you happen to think about this seed?
That run over to get the armor and coal was amazing. Like, as I was going through the Swamp Cave, I was like, this is probably a dumb idea, because I'm really low level, and that ended up being huge.
Yeah, well, you and...
Other than that,
go ahead.
Other than that, I was going to say it was a pretty nice seed overall. I mean, there's nothing really terrible about it, or trolly.
You and Ryu actually found a amazing grind spot right there outside Cole, being able to put on Repel and just hammering those Axe Knights left and right with that Hurt More, which really, really helped the game.
Yeah, I was nervous about this spot, actually, because at first I was like, okay, this is amazing, but it seemed like I was going like 30 seconds between encounters, like, so I don't know if that was... I mean, I guess it was better than the Red Dragon after all, but I got worried, and that's why I switched like halfway through.
Well, when you switched to the Red Dragon, that was actually the time that Ryu decided to die for the sword, and that actually puts you way ahead in the XP lead.
Yeah, I was trying to get to the point where, like, I could just grab the sword and go. Like, I didn't want to get there any sooner than that.
And RyuSeishin has finished in second place in this seed with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 37 seconds. Well done. And we have Centroid and Melee both making their dive down now. So, what wound up being the major difference between you and Ryu Green is you actually were both making that dive through the Swamp Cave at the same time. I'm not going to say frame for frame, but it was pretty darn close. But Ryu got wrecked by something on the way, and you didn't. So you actually found Cole first, and that early Erdrick armor pickup was huge for you, as you mentioned, going through.
Yeah, absolutely. I had an amazing run through the Swamp Cave, and then I had a couple lucky runs, I think, outside of once I got out. And then I kept trying the grave like I had some pretty poor key management there for a while early on. Like I had to go back and buy keys I think 3 times, but I really wanted to get to the bottom of the grave just so I could also initiate the gold grind because there's that flame sword right next door.
Yeah, doing a gold grind in this seed was actually really good if you could pull it off early, only for the fact that 2 out of the 3 pieces of equipment you needed was literally 6 steps away into the other town. So there was no worry about grabbing all that gold, you know, saving it and then getting wrecked by, you know, armored knights or wizards or whatever on the way to shop and spend the gold that you had.
And we also do have RyuSeishin joining us in chat. Ryu, nicely done. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a rather fun one.
So I gotta ask you, Ryu, just curious, because you and Captain Green there towards the end had the right idea. You were both grinding Axe Knights for XP right outside Cole, which was super, super effective. But then, I think it was, what, 15? You decided to go and dive for the Erdrick Sword. Was it because the stat gains were so minimal at those levels that you thought that this could be one of those, you know, level 20 seeds, and you thought if you could get the sword early enough, maybe it would make the grind a little bit bearable?
That actually was my thought there, because I knew there were the red dragons in Hawksness, and I was thinking maybe if I got the sword, I'd have enough attack power that I could switch a grind to the red dragons and get, you know, the 255 experience over the 130, you know, however often it took for Axe Knights to actually
Yeah. In fact, when you did that dive, that was the time that Captain Green actually switched over to Hawk's Nest, and that's when he pulled away in XP. But even still, you found the werewolves down in Sharlock only casting Hurt more often than not, with the occasional Heal More, which actually helped you kind of, you know, keep that somewhat of a XP, you know, lead as you were diving for the sword. So that really helped you out too, I believe.
So if I can interrupt here for a second, MeleeWizard was fighting Dragon Lord 2, and speed hacks, well, you gotta pay attention. And MeleeWizard unfortunately mismenuing to Dragon Lord 2 and taking a death. So Centroid now is distinctly ahead in the race for third here, just about to come to Dragon Lord 1. But, you know, you always got to pay attention with speed hacks here. You can't just mindlessly hit A.
And that's the thing, you know, although we have a high agility, so it makes running down here easy, you know, you can't put aside the fact that we do have the menu boss in. I mean, he's killed a ton of runs, and, you know, it's sad to see that MeleeWizard, you know, coming up third, you know, got killed by the menuing boss.
So while we have you two here, Ryu and Captain Green, what do you guys think of your places going into week 5? The chaos races to determine the top 16.
I'm definitely happy to pull 5 points from this one, because that, I think, puts me a little bit over the bubble for making the playoffs, but anything can happen in chaos, which is probably a good thing for me anyway. But it's definitely going to be a super exciting week next week.
I mean, I personally feel like chaos is where I do better. But yeah, if I make it into the top 16, it's gonna be just probably a squeaking on by.
And Centroid has taken down the Dragon Lord and will finish in third place in this seed.
And y'all were mentioning if possible, doing an early gold grind. Being able to pick up the equipment that was over there in Garenham. You know, I think getting that flame sword and the magic armor, I think that was definitely a big help. And I wouldn't say anybody made the wrong move if that was what they decided to do. I did also grind enough for the silver shield and didn't want to go to coal for it because I felt that was just way too far out of the way. So I kind of got lucky that, Caitlin held the shield as well along my travels, so I got to pick it up without having to go out of my way to do so.
And MeleeWizard was actually the first to attempt to pull the coordinates, as he knew the Red Dragon was at Hawksnest, and he just didn't have enough to take it on, hoping that he could grab the search spot for the coordinates, maybe be in the token and get an advantage, but there was just so many green dragons over there that just kept sending him back.
Yeah, that's where having that armor and flame sword came in handy. Plus, if you did get enough for the shield to pick it up there in Cantlin as well. I don't remember what level Hurtmore came, but that was a big help as well.
I think it was 12.
I thought Healmore was 12 and Hurtmore was 10, I think.
I think Hurtmore 10 sounds right, if I'm remembering correctly.
And Centroid has finished in third place in the seed with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 9 seconds. So, any last comments for you two on this seed before we get Centroid and MeleeWizard in?
It was a fun one, I thought. Thanks, guys, for commentary. Praxis and Z-Man, thanks for tracking the restreams as well. Thanks everyone who watched, and have a good night. See you all next week.
Thank you, and GG to you, Captain Green.
And yeah, I'd have to agree. It was a fun one. There wasn't anything too, particularly trolly to deal with, except for probably the metal slime. That one metal slime that sent me packing out of the mountain cave definitely cost me some time. And probably one of the only times that you'll, want to run away from metal slimes is when they have Dragon Lord breath.
And MeleeWizard finishing in 4th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 54 seconds. GG to all the runners.
And we are joined by MeleeWizard. MeleeWizard, GG.
Oh, this seat did not want me to win today.
And I believe that is also Centroid joining us. Centroid, well done.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh, this seat did not want me to win today. This seed wanted my head. There's pure and simple.
Well, kind of, but you know, let's for just 1 second talk about your Erdrick's token pickup there.
This seed wanted my head.
Hitting 2 1 out of 16 shots with the Hurtmore on that red.
Yeah, I definitely YOLO'd that one, and it paid off for sure. That's definitely one of the clutchest things you're going to see for a while. Yeah, surviving at 1 health and getting that last one, I was proud of myself for that play. But that was only because I died twice trying to get the stupid search spot.
Yeah, that search spot just was not. You were just not having any luck with those dragons, and unfortunate, you know, that with these speed hack seeds, with what comes with them is, you know, mashing the button through the text as fast as you can, and you had to take a death to the menu boss there at the Dragon Lord, which was really unfortunate.
That wasn't necessarily the menu boss. That was me, for whatever reason, I was adding up the damage in my head, and that distracted me. And I honestly didn't realize what my health was at until after I was dead.
Oof. Yeah, that was definitely unfortunate. Centroid, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, the seed was pretty opinion just because like it's a vanilla map, which I'm pretty familiar with, and there was a key really close to the start grind. You know, there was a couple nice level grind. I think the items weren't too hard to pick up. It was just, I don't know, like I feel like this came down to inefficient routing for me. I probably took some unnecessary steps, and you know, that's just something you get through experience. But yeah, I thought it was not bad.
And this was one of my concerns, was that I initially had left the Rimmildar chest behind, and I totally skipped the mountain cave because I was making a beeline for Cantland for the coordinates, and I was afraid that someone would have found Edric's sword earlier and would have had a leg up on me.
You, I think, actually were the first one to have the rainbow drop, if I'm not mistaken, and I was actually hoping for a early gamble down to Sharlock to look for.
And one thing, it's nice that where you know where all the locations are, having to hunt them down isn't as much of a thing as it has been under other flag sets.
Sorry for that little technical difficulty. So, Centroid, Melee, any last comments on this seed, or looking forward to next week before we sign off for the night?
There are better ways of finding out what has Dragon Lord breath or not. Better ways than trying to get to the dang search tile, and I never actually did make it.
So, what are the flags for next week? I forget.
It will be Chaos, and what? Short Sharlock again?
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I've only actually completed, I think, one chaos race in my last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. So I don't know. I don't think chaos is bad. The short Sharlock really helps. I feel like the one mode we did with the free keys was that was a nice introduction to chaos for sure. But like I feel like this is gonna be a little tougher, but the short Sharlock, I don't know, a little easier, I think.
Again, with Short Shylock, as we saw earlier in the league, I believe it was week 2, I think, that getting that level 2, potentially could take you up to 20, 30 minutes. It's just a matter of who's going to find the wet noodle mob, as we so call it, and get that early advantage.
And how high in agility will that wet noodle have? And so how likely will you actually be able to damage it in the first place?
Correct. And even still, once you get to Dragon Lord 2, or even Dragon Lord 1, is she going to hit you for 90 some damage? Is she going to put you to sleep? Is she going to hurt more? Is Dragon Lord 2 going to put you to sleep? I mean, those are all possible.
All right. So I think with that, Braxis, any last comments about this seed before we get on out of here?
Oh, no. I mean, I just like to thank Randomania for hosting us as always. Thank you, Z-Man, for being my wingman in the commentary, all the racers, and for Lord of the Synth doing the restream, and Ali Gerbrap and Cyberdark for the tracking. As you guys saw, with this seed and the speed hacks, having extra eyes is almost necessary for this. So.
Absolutely. Again, just once again, make sure you give all of these runners a follow. CaptainGreen7, Centroid41, MeleeWizard, and RyuSeishin. They are certainly worth your time to bop that follow button and watch them. Some really good runners, really good streamers. And of course, as Braxis said, thank you very much to Lord of the Synth and to Alijabrap and to Cyberdark for their work behind the scenes tonight. So, with that, for my co-commentator, Braxis Muse, I am Z-Man. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow for the last race of Week 4 at 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night.